So the renegotiation of the North America Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, has been a goal of civil society organizations since its inception. It was, kind of the first generation of free trade agreements that included these extreme investment chapters that allowed corporations to sue governments outside our court systems, the ISDS system, that had just this kind of side agreement on labor and environment that was completely toothless and had no meaningful standards and made no difference for workers in Mexico, for example. And so the renegotiation was tricky. Obviously, it happened under the Trump administration, and with a unfortunate kind of xenophobic message in many ways. However, the U.S. trade representative at the time actually did push some of the agenda that civil society organizations had been calling for. In particular, the investor-state dispute settlement mechanism was very much reduced. It was eliminated largely between the U.S. and Canada. It was very much circumscribed with Mexico. It had an unfortunate loophole that still allowed U.S. oil and gas companies to sue Mexico, but it really did. It was the first time that the U.S. took a step back from the ISDS system, and that is considered to be a real positive element of the USMCA. There's much more that needs to be done. On the labor the labor side, the USMCA included a new innovative rapid response mechanism to enforce much stronger labor standards. It actually has resulted in some meaningful reforms on the ground for Mexican labor unions. Independent unions have been able to bring complaints that have resulted in real changes in terms of their contracts. So I would say that has been positive. On the environmental side, there's been very little change. And in fact, the environmental organizations in the U.S., many of them opposed the USMCA because that was not really included in a meaningful way. There still is no mention of climate change. It's definitely retrograde on the environmental side. It also, we're very concerned, big tech companies managed to include some very extreme deregulatory rules that made it much more difficult to regulate big tech companies for privacy, data protection, discrimination policies. And so the USMCA is a real mixed bag in terms of some benefits that are more progressive, but also some things that were a step backwards.